back, and joining us now on the line from Sokoto State is our correspondent on the ground, Lucky Isaude. Hello, Lucky.
Hello, good evening.
Yes, good evening, Lucky. Well, we've been on your case all through the day, and of course we need to know now if we have the result of the governorship election in Sokoto State yet. Lucky?
Hello?
Yeah, hello, Lucky. Hello, Lucky.
Hello.
Yes, I can hear you. Can you tell us what's happening in Sokoto State? I can hear you. Can you tell us what's happening in Sokoto State now?
Yeah, at the moment, the final collation is being done. Results have been done from all the 23 local governments in the state, and the chief collating officer for the state, Professor Abdullah Zuru, is collating the results. At any moment from now, the final results will be announced based on the tabulation from all the 23 local governments.
Well, the final results will be announced any moment from now, but before that is done, we'll just like a recap of the events in Sokoto State. That's yesterday when the voting took place and up till today. You know, how was the voting conducted?
The voting was conducted peacefully. Election materials were distributed on time. Security arrangement was properly in place. The State Commissioner of Police, Baba Bolanta, spoke to me earlier on and assured that there will be adequate and effective security because they were working in conjunction with the State Security Service, Nigerian Army, and other security agencies to ensure that there is no breach of the peace in the state. And it turned out to be so, except for a few places where there are cases of ballot box searching, and the issues were immediately addressed, and those are in Nasagudu area of Nasagudu area and Kuchi area, where 3 centers witnessed ballot box snatching, and also in Wadaba local government area in Chimologudu ward particularly, there was a case of ballot box snatching which the security agents handled, and results from those areas were cancelled.
Okay, results from those areas were cancelled. Now, you've mentioned the cases of electoral malpractice, namely ballot box snatching. Did you get the opinions of the political actors in the state, most especially the opposition, concerning that particular or those incidents?
Right now, the All Nigeria People's Party have rejected the results even before the final results is announced. They said the process leading to the election itself was marked by pre-election violence. They accused the police and the Independent National Electoral Commission of conniving to rig the election in favor of the PDP. And the state police PRO, Mustafa Sani, in an interview with me earlier in the day, debunked the allegation. He said some miscreants were arrested for trying to disrupt the peace of the state. And the state PRO of the commission, that is INEC, Mohammed Musa, also confirmed that no formal petition has been submitted before the commission, that all the claims by the ANPP candidate are mere allegations which have not been substantiated.
Lucky, we'll be coming back to you shortly, but then I think I would like to excuse you now so that you can go ahead and then listen up for the announcement of the election results. But rest assured, before this program is over, we'll be hearing from you, and I believe we'll also be hearing from you.
Thank you.
That's our correspondent in Sokoto State, who has been monitoring the state's governorship elections. And of course, before the program ends, we'll be getting the results from the governorship elections in the northwestern Nigerian state. But as you heard from Lucky, the All Nigeria People's Party candidate in the governorship election in Sokoto, Alhaji Yushau Ahmed, says his party will not accept the election results being released by the Independent National Electoral Commission. While addressing journalists in Sokoto, Alhaji Ahmed accused the Nigeria Police Force and the electoral body of rigging the election in favor of the ruling People's Democratic Party. He says the police prevented some of their party agents from monitoring the election in some local government areas on the outskirts of the state, while others were made to sign the result sheets under duress at Guadabawa local government area. Well, reacting to those allegations, the Sokoto State Police Public Relations Officer, Mr. Al-Mustafa Sani, says they are not true and that the police aided no political party. On the other hand, the Public Relations Officer of the Independent National Electoral Commission in the state, Mr. Mohammed Musa, debunked the allegations, saying the commission has not received any formal complaints of irregularity from any of the political parties. He added that the commission prepared well for the election as the results have been collated. And of course, remember, Lucky also mentioned the fact that indeed in the areas where there were known cases of electoral practice like ballot box snatching, those results were invalidated by the Independent National Electoral Commission. Well, we'll not be leaving the case of Sokoto just in the middle of the road, because we're joined by some of the political actors in the state. We're expecting a member of the Congress for Progressive Change, but at the moment, fortunately, we are being joined by the Sokoto State Commissioner for Information, Mr. Dahiru Meishano, who will be shedding some light on the events in Sokoto State. Mr. Meishano, you're welcome to Politics Today.
Thank you very much.
Well, nice to have you, and I hope you had a smooth trip down to Lagos.
I did.
Well, the results have not yet been announced, but you are here in Lagos on Politics Today.
Yeah.
And, well, we can't say for sure where the results will swing. Of course, the incumbent governor, or how am I going to describe him now? The former governor of Sokoto State, Alhaji Aliyu Magatakaruda Wamako, is standing to be re-elected this time around.
Yes.
Well, you've also heard the issues arising from the elections themselves. I believe you voted yesterday when the votes were being cast.
Yes, I did. Okay,
so where you voted, how was it?
Well, where I voted in my local government area, in Yabu local government, the elections went on very smoothly without any singular incident. And it was not only in Yabu, because I went around myself to the other neighboring local government areas. As you reported earlier, the police were saying there were not much election violence or any problems with the elections. In fact, where there were problems, INEC invalidated the results. So I don't see any thing that would allow anybody to say that there were violence or electoral malpractices.
Well, you also heard from our report as well that there were actually some incidents of electoral malpractice, ballot box snatching, and all that, and for those areas INEC has actually invalidated the results. But if indeed, like you observed, that the elections were mostly hitch-free, then how come we had those pockets of violence, you know, in those areas that have been reported?
Yeah, if there was any result or any report of that kind of incident, I would like to inform you that those kind of incidents must have been instigated by the opposition, because they have shown antics for that even before the election day. They have been trying to instigate troubles here and there. And I can tell you where we are in command, there was nothing that indicated any trouble coming. And the elections of yesterday were the most free and most fair election ever held in Sokoto State.
Well, you're already pointing fingers at the opposition for instigating, you know, those pockets of violence. Right now, they are not here to speak for themselves, but we are expecting someone from the other side. Of course, I'm sure he'll be taking you up on that, because we definitely will be returning to that.
Yes.
But of course, the governorship candidate of the All Nigeria People's Party has said that he's rejecting the results of the Sokoto State governorship election because they lack credibility. And, you know, if you now put the two factors together, the fact that one of the candidates is already rejecting the results, and then we also have, you know, the pockets of electoral violence here and there. I mean, doesn't it point fingers in the opposite direction?
No. If someone is rejecting the outcome of the election before the outcome itself, then he need to examine himself.
But
I mean, that means that it's premeditated.
He already sees the direction the wind is blowing.
Yeah, well, he must have seen that probably he's going to lose. But he is going to lose on the grounds of the people's power. So that is the issue. And if he knows that it is the people that are behind the eventual winner, he should not do any premeditated kind of action. Because this is the way I look at it. He is looking at the fact that His Excellency Dr. Wamoko is firmly on the ground. He knows what he has done. He knows that he's endowed by the people. The people of Sokoto State have seen what he has done so far in the last 4.5 years, and they are ready to give him their votes once again for the third time in 4.5 years.
Well, talking about right now it's very difficult to find the appropriate words to describe the position of Governor Aliu Wamako, whether to refer to him as the former governor. Well, at least up till today, he was the immediate past governor because he is technically not in office. And anyway, the results could swing any direction. But then, the fact that he's... Okay, yes, I know what you believe.
Yes, I believe that so far from what has been declared, you can better describe him as the governor-elect.
Okay, fine. Let's keep that under wraps because the Independent National Electoral Commission is the declaring authority here.
Yes.
And, you know, before they say anything, we are not allowed to give any hint, any inkling, any indication.
Yes.
So I think as far as results are concerned, until we hear from our correspondent in Kano, in Sokoto, I beg your pardon, until we hear from Lucky in Sokoto saying that this is what INEC has said, I think it is wise not to jump the gun at this point.
No problem.
But then for Alhaji Wamako, well, his election was invalidated by the courts, like, you know, those other 5 governors who have had to run for elections again.
Yes.
But really, I mean, if the judiciary has actually stepped in and said, look, the process that extended your stay in office was wrong, doesn't it say something about the nature and character of the political party, the political machinery, and probably the actors involved?
Well, I think what you're saying is just giving us an update of the development, political developments in the country. It is just trying to write things that most likely were flawed through the judicial system. And I believe that the Supreme Court judgment was just to make things go much more fluent and stabilize the Nigerian democracy. Rather, I don't think it is for anybody to accuse the political actors, because it was all along it was the work of the judiciary that annulled the elections, that the Court of Appeal now gave them the go-ahead to continue, and then now we have the Supreme Court. So rather, I think it is strengthening our democracy.
Yeah, but don't you think it's the People's Democratic Party, being the governing party in the state, might have had an unfair advantage even in this process of political transition, because they hold the reins of government, even though the head, or should I say the figurehead, was eased out of office temporarily, but it was still the People's Democratic Party firmly in charge in Sokoto State.
Of course, the Constitution, we have to follow the letters of the Constitution. What the Constitution says is that the Speaker should take over, whichever party he is coming from.
But so in this case, the Speaker is from the People's Democratic Party.
Yes, exactly. But that has not given anybody any advantage, because our governor is a person that is known to be very fair to all and sundry. And the democratic means of getting elected is openly for everybody. Everybody knows what is supposed to be done. So I don't think there is any advantage or undue advantage that anybody is taking. Rather, I think the opposition would probably take more advantage by being more vociferous, by continuing to attack the system.
Oh, you mean that Alhaji Wamako being eased out of office would have given the opposition a measure of confidence.
Exactly. Initially, that was what they were thinking. They were dancing all over the place. But unfortunately, like I said earlier, what he has done is there for people to see. The people of Sokoto State know the kind of economic boost he has empowered, the kind of socio-economic re-engineering he has made for Sokoto State in the last 1.5 years. They have seen the revolution in education. They have seen the social welfare package for people in Sokoto State. So I think that has given the governor, if there is any advantage, that has given the governor the advantage to, because he is very humble and is very close to the people. And like I said, people know what he has done. The opposition was in government for 8 years. And people are there, people can be able to compare what they have done in those 8 years and what he has done in these 4.5 years. And so it's not a question of advantage. It's a question of what you see on the ground and what people believe they have gained in these democratic dividends.
From the side of the opposition, you know, if they say they want to take over the reins of government, then it means something must have not been done right. And that is why the opposition, you know, had the confidence to say that, okay, it is time for us to like take the reins of governance back and then put things right in Sokoto State.
Yeah, but I think it is normal for the opposition to look for power, whether the government in power is doing well or not.
Remember, the People's Democratic Party was also the opposition as at 4.5 years ago.
Yes, exactly. And it was Governor Wamako that brought it back. 4.5 years ago, there was no single PDP councillor in Sokoto State. His Excellency Dr. Ali Wamako brought his magic, and he gave a PDP 100% as at 2011. Even all the councillors we have in Sokoto State are all PDP.
It will be interesting to know what kind of magic.
Yeah, the magic is simple, is what he has been doing. He had a blueprint, he had a vision and mission before coming to power.
But blueprints don't win elections.
Yeah, well, in Sokoto State they do, because he is succeeding in implementing the blueprint, I can tell you. He waged a war against illiteracy by, first of all, giving free education to all and sundry in Sokoto State, irrespective of where you're from. Whether you are from Sokoto State or Kano or Lagos or Ogun State, all in as much as you are a Nigerian, you are having free education in Sokoto State, courtesy of Dr. Ali Wamako's free education policy. Secondary education, tertiary institutions, and primary education. And apart from that, His Excellency abrogated the so-called differential school fees. Before we came in, when this opposition was in power, they were segregating people based on where they come from. You can't go to the school and you have to pay different school fees. His Excellency said no, we don't have anything. In fact, he said that he doesn't like that word called non-indigenous. So in Sokoto State, we don't have anything called non-indigenous. Apart from that, His Excellency has built and reconstructed many schools in and across Sokoto State, where you can see on the ground as soon as you come. There is also a state university that is being constructed in Sokoto. Over 8.9 billion naira has been earmarked, and in fact has been already captured in the construction of the university. So these are things that His Excellency has done. Look at the health issue, where he has been given free health care to children under the age of 5 and pregnant women, and in fact even after their during lactation. Apart from that, he has recently added free health care for accident victims, free health care for asthmatic patients, free medicine for asthmatic patients, and also patients of sickle cell anemia.
Okay, Ms. Meshanu, if I permit you, I'm sure you can blow your principal's trumpet from now till the end of the program. But of
Yes,
course,
yes.
there is something actually pretty curious here. This new menace that has sprung up in the northern part of the country, that's the militant sect known broadly as Boko Haram.
Yes.
Curiously, Sokoto State has largely been insulated from their activities.
Yes.
What sort of security arrangements do you have in Sokoto that has at least kept Boko Haram out of the state, at least up till this moment?
Well, I think it is something fundamental with Sokoto. It's not only the recent Boko Haram menace. If you look at it, all the religious, inter-religious conflicts that have been happening over the north and some other parts of Nigeria, Sokoto has been insulated for that. So I think it has to do with the way and manner people respect other people. Like I just told you, we don't have this syndrome of non-indigen. Everybody comes in and goes. In fact, we have two special advisors who are from the east in the cabinet of Dr. Wabako. And also, Sokoto is known to be a place where there is a lot of respect for constituted authority. If the Sultan says this, everybody will do that. So, and coupled with the effort of the government itself in making sure that integration is given a chance. People are integrated.
All right. That is very, very impressive, Mr. Meshanu. But as it is, we still have a lot to talk about on today's show. Yes. And I would really have liked to discuss with you the conduct of the polls in Sokoto State. Unfortunately, as of the time we're talking, we do not have the results yet. But definitely we hope to have you on the show again at some very near time in the future, so that we'll discuss the conduct of the election and then what we expect in the aftermath. But so far, it's very great to have you on the politics today. I would like to excuse you for now.
Thank you very much.
Yes.
I would like to say also that we are very optimistic that PDP is returning to power in Sokoto. I would also like to inform the viewers, it's not only what I have said before, the PDP government has electrified over 800 towns and villages across Sokoto State. Over 300 townships of roads, have been constructed.
The state where elections have been conducted, results have been expected. The next port of call is the state where we will be expecting governorship elections to be taking place shortly, and that is Cros River State. Is it south or eastern part of the country? But also where the deposed governor, Mr. Lee Alimoke, is campaigning very seriously to ensure that he gets back to Government House. Now remember, the Vice President Namadi Sambu chairs the Committee for the People's Democratic Party campaign for the February the 25th governorship election in Cros River State, with a commitment to delivering the state to the party. But remarkably, for the second time, Governor Imoke has been removed from office, and now, as the exercise gets hotter, gets more competitive, he is still as optimistic as ever of clinching the #1 seat in the state known by many as the People's Paradise. Well, joining me today to discuss the level of preparedness of Cros River State towards the successful conduct of the polls is the Cros River State Deputy Chairman of the People's Democratic Party, Chief Peter Ojie. You're welcome to Politics Today.
Thank you very much. Good evening, viewers.
Well, good evening, Mr. Ojie, once again, and let's just go straight to the issue at hand. Of all the states that experienced the nullification of elections, Cros River State is the last, but not the least, of course, remaining to conduct governorship elections. Now, how prepared are you and your party towards February the 25th?
I can say that we're very ready. The PDP has been in government in Cros River State since 1999, and we have put quite a lot on ground that should confidently give us the strength to go on to any election, anytime, any day. But on this election, which is coming up on the 25th, I'd like to say very clearly and without mixing words that we are absolutely ready for it. We are ready because we've done great work. We've gone on the campaign. We've gone through the entire 18 local governments of Cros River State, and we've spoken to our people. We've spoken to them as if everything depended on talking to them, even as we have so much on ground to show for what we have done in the last 12 years, and especially in the last 4 years of Senator Lee Alimoke.
Well, what exactly have you done that the opposition couldn't have done?
Well, this is a very novel arrangement. What you find in Cros River State, Cros River State is a people's paradise. And you will understand that it is in Cros River State more than any other state in the Federation that Governor Imoke, as he was before the Supreme Court judgment, took government to the people. Governor Imoke believes that government should be taken to those who need government the most. And therefore, our approach to governance has been one of bottom-up. We have had to work, for the most part of it, in the rural areas. And the rural areas of Cross River State are the ones who have benefited the most in the 4 years of Imoke's administration. That is where the people live. Okay. And that is touching the people. And that is taking government to those who need it the most.
Well, that's actually very strange indeed, because feelers that we have gotten from Cross River State indicate that actually most of the development we have seen is concentrated mainly in the state capital, Calabar. Of course, I mean, it is a showpiece as far as state capitals are concerned, and probably the areas where, you know, tourist attractions, probably like the Obudu Cattle Ranch, are situated. Now, can you say in all confidence that development has actually trickled down to all corners, no matter how remote, of Cross River State?
I'd like to invite your station to visit Cross River, and let's take you around what Cross River is. Let me tell you this. In the 4 years of Imoke's administration, we have done 29 rural roads. It is only in Cross River State you will find a government spending over ₦1 billion building a road, a rural road.
Only 29.
No, listen, I mean, I'm telling you, I said rural roads.
Yes.
Rural roads. What you find outside.
The rural areas are the largest
exactly,
areas.
but you know, governments have been concentrated in the cities. But we have taken government to the people. And it is not just about rural infrastructure. It has gone beyond rural infrastructure. We have done schools, we have done the health facilities, and you have at least every local government area in the state has at least 4 roads that have been done in the rural areas. Every local government area in the state has at least 1 primary health facility in the wards, and there are 196 wards in Cross River State.
And how many local governments?
18 local governments. If you provide health facilities, at least for rural people to be able to access health care, then you will understand what it means. And then it is in Cross River State that we have free medical program for pregnant women and children who are under 5. And that is the chunk of the Nigerian populace. If you target that area, you know that you have reached it. We have in some of our local governments, for a whole year, you go through without having any mortality rate. One of our local government, Bekwara local government, is recorded as having gone through without a woman or a child dying under 5. And that's a cardinal achievement for this administration.
I'll say that is indeed very impressive. But then back to your party's political record in the state. Yes, the ruling party in Cross River State for about 3 consecutive terms now. But don't you think the sacking of the governor from office and then, you know, being compelled to run again for elections, don't you think it is a stain on the success of the successes of the party in Cross River State?
Really, I think it's a strength, because in 2008, when Imoke's administration was halted by the Court of Appeal judgment, he had done about 11 months. And we had 11 months of phenomenal success. And that's what easily saw Imoke return to government in the elections that was conducted in August of 2008. Now, when the Supreme Court judgment came, rather than see it as a stain, we see it as a source of strength, not just for Cross River State or the government of Cross River State, which is a PDP government,
even if it's
but for democracy.
The second time around.
Yeah, it is very rare to find someone who is contesting elections. Imoke has contested all his elections. The one on Saturday coming up will be the 3rd election he's contesting from outside of governance. And it is very rare to find that. And it only speaks of a man's acceptability and popularity with the people for him to come back each time he has this setback.
Yes, but there's always the incumbency syndrome, or should I say the incumbency phenomenon, where it is very, very, very rare for the incumbent to lose elections, you know, as far as Nigerian politics is concerned. Like
surprisingly,
it's not impossible, but very rare. But then, unfortunately, the other party is not here to speak for themselves. But then, from the feelers will be getting, the opposition usually complains about irregularities. Now, how are you prepared to face the possibility, just in case your party ends up on the victorious side, to forestall the possibility of, court cases, complaints in the media, and what have you, about election irregularities?
Let me just make this point. There is no incumbency factor in the case of Cros River State. In 2007, when Imoke contested the election, he was not an incumbent. He had just left office as Minister of Power and Steel.
Exactly.
In 2008, when he recontested that office, he was not in office. The appeal court had removed him from office.
But the PDP was the incumbent party in the state.
The PDP has been in power. If you have not managed the resources, if you have not managed the power well, you would not even be able to enjoy that.
His predecessor might actually have, facilitated.
So that is a credit to the PDP. In that situation, it becomes a credit to the PDP. But beyond this point,
through fair or foul means,
no, there's no foul means in this situation. Beyond this point, I just think that for us, we are prepared for the elections. The Supreme Court judgment is not about irregularities. The Supreme Court judgment was clearly about tenure, and they defined clearly what a 4-year tenure should be. So the elections that Imoke is going back to the polls with other contestants is not about irregularities on the part of the PDP or even the umpire INEC. Beyond that, you would understand that Cros River State presents perhaps one of the best INEC resident electoral commissioners in Nigeria, Mike Guinea, and he's a thoroughbred man. So in the issues of preparing for the elections, if we hear complaints from the opposition, and I wish they were here anyway, if you hear complaints from the opposition, it is complaints that are born out of the fact that they are not prepared for the elections. If you are prepared for the elections, you are assured that a man like Igini would deliver. A man like Jega would deliver. And therefore, we are confident that if the elections that have been conducted in this country, first the elections were conducted last year, and the elections that have been conducted in the 4th with the Sokoto election yesterday, are anything to go by, then we should expect that the Cros River election will run almost flawless. Okay? And given that, it only takes one who has prepared very well for this job to be able to get to the hot spot. And I can tell you honestly that PDP is ready, and PDP is very well on the way back to the hot spot.
Well, you can't take anything for granted. Like they say, anything can happen. Now, what if it happens? I mean, just what if the People's Democratic Party loses in Cros River State?
I sincerely believe that the People's Democratic Party has done enough work in terms of what the government that has been the PDP government has done, and more so in terms of what the PDP government, PDP campaign organization, which is handling the campaigns for Senator Imoke in the Saturday election, has done especially in the last 3 weeks. Combing the nooks and crannies of Cros River State and talking to our people. You need to see the reception that the candidate received from the people. That is assurance enough.
I wish I could have seen that. However, the opposition has actually doubted the feasibility of these polls. I mean, I will not go into the legalities or the legal complications or implications involved in it. But then, of course, there is an outside chance that as a mark of protest, they might just be opting out of the entire process. I mean, don't you think if that happens, I mean, in this case, it's conditional anyway. If that happens, well, first of all, do you see the opposition opting out of the process?
Well, the opposition should answer for themselves. I wouldn't possibly be answering questions for opposition.
Absolutely. I'm not asking you to hold brief for them. You know, I mean, let's just say it's a hypothetical question here. I mean, as a political expert and one who has been on the political scene and in government, I believe you understand these things. I mean, the way the wind is blowing, is there any possibility of the others opting out in the belief that the whole process itself is probably, lacks the veneer of legitimacy in the first place?
You couldn't possibly be speaking about legitimacy, because we know that between you and I, the last elections that were organized in the last 1 year and the elections that have been organized in the last 3 weeks or thereabout are elections that clearly point to the fact that issues of credibility and legitimacy cannot be raised. The elections are clearly prepared. INEC has done its best, and the opposition in Cros River, I've attended a few meetings with them and the INEC, and they have shown implicit confidence in the capacity of INEC to organize the elections. And I just believe that they should go ahead and just contest the elections. They shouldn't chicken out at this stage, because you have had it's a football match. You've had your time to prepare for the match, and it's time to walk to the field and do the game. So we would like to meet them in the field.
What is giving you such supreme confidence?
Because I know that my party is ready. My party has done enough hard work to take us to that level.
Yes, I mean, when you talk about when you talk of hard work, I mean, when we started, you talked about reaching out to the people in the grassroots, taking your campaign to all the nooks and crannies of Cros River State. And is it the question I asked at that time is, what do you think you have done that your opponents haven't done? And I was not necessarily looking at the achievements of the governor, while he held sway in office. I am talking about your outreach, your strategy as far as reaching out to the people is concerned. I'm sure in those places you visited, you must have also come up against, at least physically speaking, against some of the other political parties. I mean, it wasn't the People's Democratic Party having a free ride all through. So what is it, as far as mobilization is concerned, that you have done that you believe would be giving you an edge come February the 25th?
Well, let me just say this. The issue about reaching out to our people goes beyond a roadshow, goes beyond just campaigning, goes beyond rallying. The PDP developed a very, very novel way of talking to our people, because we engage our people. Every local government that we've visited, we've had to talk with the people, with the leaders of thought. We've had to talk with the traditional institution. We've had to talk with the women. We've had to talk with the youths. We engage them because it affords us the opportunity to appraise the issues in question, issues that are peculiar to each local government. We believe that government should be responsive to the issues. So we go to them, engage them, and get to know what their needs are. So it's like a needs assessment tour beyond just the funfair and razzmatazz of a campaign. After that, we will now address our people, and we'll address our people on issues. PDP is about the only party in the state that goes out and talks to the people about issues. Because beyond what we have on ground, beyond the credentials, beyond the things that a PDP government has put on ground, we have engaged our people in a way that we can move Cros River State forward. So when I say that we have done enough hard work, this is just it gives you an idea of what kind of hard work we've done. Because we now know that for every local government, look, these are our needs. Local government A tells you that, look, our priority is education. Local government B tells you that our priority is health facility. The other one tells you that, look, we need to be able to have access roads in order that we can bring our produce out of our place. Of course, Cros River State is an agrarian, has an agrarian economy. So we do this because we know that we will need to get to be responsive to our people. Beyond what we have done in the last 4 years, we should be able to approach the next 4 years, God willing, and PDP winning the elections. We should be able to approach the next 4 years delivering to the people what they actually desire. And that's what I believe the purpose of government should be.
Well, still on the political scene, we usually hear people talking about an all-inclusive government. And most times what they mean is that, yes, I have won the elections, but then I will try to reach out to my political opponents, bring them close to me, have them work with me, have them cooperate with me, and then probably when we achieve the desired results, then either my next tenure or probably whoever will be taking over from me would have inherited a very stable political legacy on which to build upon. But then in all our discussions, you've never for once mentioned that particular factor. Is it that when you come into power, then you exclude the rest?
Don't you forget that I'm first and foremost a party leader. The job of the party is primarily to attain power.
And after attaining power,
and seeking first the political kingdom. We get the power. When you get the power, of course, yes. Governments everywhere, even nationally, governments have become highly inclusive. You are a governor of the people. Once you are elected as governor, You are a governor of all the people. Those who voted for you, those who voted against you, those who are in your party, and those who are not in your party. So if you desire to run a good government, of course you certainly must be looking at issues that will create an inclusive government. Certainly that's it. And my principal, the candidate that we have and we're presenting to the people of Cross River State, is one who is such a broad-minded person, and is someone, of course he has been at the national scene, and those who know him to be such. And we are not really going to look at the issues in terms of whether we are going to be running an exclusively PDP government. But certainly it is the PDP that has the mandate of the people, and if the people renew the mandate, as we hope they will renew on the 25th, definitely PDP will be laying the foundation for Cross River State to move forward.
Well, Chief Ogie, yes, we've been talking about the dynamics of politics and, of course, the achievements of the People's Democratic Party, come February the 25th, when the might of the party once again will be tested. But see, the fact that you even have, an opposition in the state, yes, of course, I mean, it is a democracy, and definitely people are free to express their political feelings by way of, belonging to different political parties. But really, if, like you're telling me, you have a situation like that, then why in the first place do you actually have an opposition, that is, I believe, that formidable?
Formidable? I'm not too sure. You are very familiar with the politics of Cross River State. But
at least I know that Governor Leo Imoke is not running unopposed.
He's certainly not running unopposed. But certainly you would not describe the opposition we have in Cross River State as formidable.
So
I
really
would wish that the opposition was there, because
was formidable, was more competitive.
Because let me tell you this. Let me tell you this. What you find most of the time is that you find opposition parties, who prefer to find succor in the media, and make a whole lot of noise. If you go to Cross River State today and ask questions, just go to the people and ask questions, you'll be shocked what you will get. I said at the beginning of the program that I would like your station to visit Cross River. A visit to Cross River would afford you the opportunity to see the issues I've raised.
If you say I will be shocked, then it means that what I'll be finding out will be contrary to what you're telling me. That probably will be what will shock me.
No. What will shock you is the fact that you are crediting the opposition we have in the state as formidable. That's the point I'm making. But you would find out contrary to what your position you're holding.
And I'm sure if they had been here, they would have insisted that indeed they probably would.
What do you say of an opposition 1 week to election has 2 governorship candidates?
Yes, that's democracy.
Exactly. and you take a fractured party to an election and you expect to win.
Well, of course, you don't have only one opponent in the process.
I tell you seriously, it's the issues in question is about, look, are you ready to seek the mandate of the people? If you are, how ready are you? Are you prepared? What are the issues? What are you presenting to the people? The issues are not about the opposition party or ruling party. The issues are, what are you putting on the table? Let the people know what you're bringing forward. If we elect you, what are you going to do? So beyond the fact that we have issues, we have things we can point to, we're telling our people that, listen, this is what we hope to do if we are returned to power. We will strengthen this area and we'll go further to this. Beyond that, we want to be able to deliver to you exactly what you desire. Because that is the whole business of taking government to people who need the government the most.
Very interesting. Now I'll just throw the question right back at you. Ahead of February the 25th, Governor Imoke's third coming. There was a first coming, a second coming, and a third coming. Ahead of the third coming, what are you bringing to the table?
So much. So much.
Summarize it in 2 minutes.
Okay. Let me just tell you this. Imoke means so much to our people. But Imoke means much more to the people in the rural areas. Because Imoke believes that government has been so distant from the rural area. So Imoke has engaged government in creating rural infrastructure, in creating rural access. Outside, beyond this, there are other issues that he has done, including urban renewal. It is not like he's abandoning urban development to concentrate in the rural areas, but he believes that in doing this, you will give the rural people more access to this. What I expect that Cros Riverians should withdraw from a government that is incoming, granted that we have returned, and I believe we will be returned on the 25th, I expect that we will expand the frontiers of what has been achieved in the last 4 years.
And before we go, I'd like to find out, you had this issue of Cross River State being exempt from the oil-producing states of Nigeria. And, of course, the revenue that would have accrued from that, of course, would also be lost to the state. How far have you gone with that?
The Cross River State was not exactly exempted from being an oil-producing state, but just that...
There was a controversy about that issue.
There are issues where we lost 96 oil wells to our neighbor, our sister state, and revenues accruing from such wells. Definitely the revenues of the state has dipped because we lost revenues.
Major revenue.
Accruing from the 96 oil wells. But that, I think, is even a credit to the management, the frugal management of the resources of the state, because the state has operated since 1998 without a large chunk of the revenue that was flowing from it. Those issues are being addressed even as we speak. And I would not like to make too much comments on it because it will be sub judice.
Thank you very much, Chief Peter Ogier, for joining us on Politics Today. And after February the 25th, I hope you'll still have the confidence to speak well in the same terms as you have spoken today, but definitely we'll be looking forward to having you or probably any other representative of your party from Cross River State after the governorship elections in your state.
I would like to be back here to talk about the victory.